I probably shouldn't say this, but John, do you know who Raffi is?
Of course I know who Raffi is.
He is a peerless child entertainer.
He's a peerless child. Agreed.
Entertainer, like Cedric, the entertainer. Great
Don't know.
name. Great name on that guy. He writes songs, and by anyone's measure would be the gold standard of kids' song. Baby Beluga, for example. Mm-hmm. You show me one kid who doesn't know that song, and I'll show you a stupid kid.
Loser.
Yeah. He's been given the Order of Canada.
Yep.
He's traveled the world.
Yeah.
I think that Raffi is probably the single greatest all-around entertainer ever.
Wow.
And if you don't believe me, just ask him.
Live from the hard drive. I probably shouldn't say this, but with John Bateman and Matt Steffich.
I'm trying to keep the bar as low as possible. If I live, it's a good day.
Yeah.
The phone can ring off the hook. Hey, where's that money? I don't know. I'm still alive, though.
I did a little bit of work.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That you did a little bit of work.
A lot of people, they tease me. They're like, don't you work? What do you do? Shouldn't you be doing something?
That's how you say to yourself every day.
That's
your self-talk.
Okay, I do have negative self-talk. I do have a problem with it.
We've talked about that.
We have.
What do you do? You shouldn't say that to yourself.
Look at myself in the mirror hard.
Especially when you say it with that tone. You shouldn't just say, "What do you do?"
I don't use a mirror anymore. You don't need one with iPhones anymore.
That's true.
What are you doing with your iPhone, by the way? You got one.
It's over behind me somewhere.
Okay, so somebody bought you an iPhone like 6 or 5.
Is that
6S.
like a convertible something? I mean, it's like, is that a cool thing to have?
Kind of.
Right.
It depends on how you use it. So somebody bought you an iPhone.
True. Very true.
And smacked it down in front of you. Here. Guess what? Here you go. And it's a beautiful iPhone.
There's a phone number for you. You got a phone number?
I think it's the best. And you were given a phone number, which I don't know yet.
I don't even know it. I don't know it.
Yeah. And you grabbed the iPhone and you said, hey, look what I got. And you said, I don't care. You don't want it. I don't care. What are you supposed to do with these things? Look at this thing. This is just the stupidest looking thing.
It's actually sitting behind. You can see it from
where you're sitting. I
can
see it
sitting.
Sitting over there, and it's sitting on a box. It's sitting on its own box.
Everybody, do you have your phone? I go, no, I know where it is, though. I know exactly where it is.
But you're supposed to carry them with, right?
But so then people can get a hold of you.
But you're kind of you're kind of a non-watch guy, right? You don't wear watches. I love watches. I have watch fetish. Do you know that?
Is that the only watch you're wearing, or do you have one strapped somewhere else?
It's not that kind of fetish. Do they have? I guess they do. They do have watches that do the. I don't need to get you. Listeners can just extrapolate that because they know where I'm going with that.
I don't.
Really?
Anyway, go ahead.
I was basically going to talk about a vibrating watch.
Right, your watch fetish
attached to my.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Why don't you put it somewhere else? Everyone sticks that there. I mean,
they put their watch on their penis, is what you're saying.
If I had a watch, where do you think I'd keep it?
On your penis.
It's do you know what time it is, Matt? Or don't ask Matt what time it is. That would become pretty common.
So this way you could do both. You could say, yeah, I wear a watch, but you'd never ask you what time it is. Nobody would ever ask.
Well, they might only ask once until they saw where it was and then never ask again. It's the ones who ask twice. Sorry, what'd you say it was?
Yeah.
That you go, hey, what's your number?
Really?
Yeah.
So somebody asks twice, and then you're like, and you think that's the equivalent of interest. Somebody being interested.
Yeah. You can freak anyone out once, but if they're coming back the second time,
that's true. That's true.
All you've done is attract them.
Can I have your iPhone?
Several people have asked me that.
And so you're not allowed to give it.
I probably could do anything I want. It's my phone, right?
But I think whoever gave it to you, and we won't name any names, but whoever gave it to you doesn't want you giving it away. Like they would be pissed off. It's kind of like, that's kind of like not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Jack and the Beanstalk action.
It's sort of
You come back like
exactly
I
that.
offer you a bottle of scotch
Yeah.
for your iPhone, and you're like, damn rights. And you go home, and the person that gave it to you, who won't say who it was,
Yeah.
says, honey, where's your iPhone? And you said, oh, I traded it in for this bottle of scotch.
I thought you say golden beans.
No, and she whips the bottle of scotch out the window, and it smashes in the yard, and
so
then
now
a
I don't
scotch
got the beans or
no,
the
a
scotch.
scotch tree grows, right?
Thought of that.
That's not bad.
I guess when you're telling a story, anything could happen.
Yeah, for sure. So really, pickup lines. We discussed this a little bit in the beginning. You want to do pickup lines?
No.
I came in with polygamy.
These aren't pickup lines. This is different. What I want to, a lot of ladies out there hear a lot of things from a lot of guys.
Yeah,
Guys say things to ladies, and ladies always go, "Well, that was nice. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Really. Well, thank you. That's really thanks a lot."
I think a lot of women are oblivious to those unsavory intentions.
So what I'm going to do, what I thought I would do as a favor to the ladies, whom I love,
Of course,
and
they love you dearly.
you not so much.
I don't get along with them. No.
I thought I would do all you gals a favor, and I'm going to get John to read some lines that guys would say to you, common lines. You've heard of these all before. And then I'm going to actually interpret what that means
Right.
in guy think. So
And then
John's going to give us a line.
But just to quickly, before we do that, segment 2, we're going to do the exchange again because that's always funny.
We will definitely be doing the exchange.
And segment 3, we're going to be talking about polygamy, maybe.
Yeah.
I was listening to about it on the radio today.
You're pretty excited about it from the looks of it.
Well, let's burn that bridge when we get to it.
I love burning bridges.
Okay, so let's set the scene here.
Okay, so the scene is John's
I'm
a
a
guy.
guy.
You play a guy.
Okay, so first of all, stretch yourself that way. Picture me being a guy, like a man.
Right.
Picture me, I'm a guy, obviously, but picture me being like an actual man, like a bona fide man.
While you're stretching your imagination to the absolute possible limits, picture me as a woman.
Yeah, not so much of a stretch.
Not so hard.
The facial hair.
So my friend
Are
John here.
you menopausal, postmenopausal?
I'm all women wrapped into one woman.
Because if you're like, I can get the facial hair thing if you're menopausal, possibly.
Let's just say I am, if that's
Okay.
what it takes for you to buy in. So
like
here we go.
I look at you and I see, like when I squint my eyes and I think about that, you look a little bit like a cross between B. Arthur and my mother.
B. Arthur is somebody's mother.
I think the alarm just went off on my watch. Okay.
So, ladies.
Okay, so here we go.
guy
Okay,
says-
I haven't looked at this list yet.
A guy says this to you.
Where are we? Are we in a bar? Come
No,
on,
it doesn't
put us
matter.
somewhere into the airport
It doesn't matter.
lounge,
Anywhere you could run into a
an
guy where a guy could say
emergency
something.
room.
All of the above.
Okay.
You're standing on a street
Can
corner.
I set a different scene for each one?
Sure.
We got a list here. Matt handed me this list. I've never read this before, and I'm going to do it. Okay,
So when a guy says this,
yeah. So I've walked into an emergency with a digestive tract issue. Is that okay?
the setting doesn't matter, but okay, sure.
Well,
why
it does
not?
a little bit.
Sure, okay, we're in a-
and you're sitting down with
digestive
whatever.
tract. Okay, so-
let's say bladder infection.
And then the guy says this to you. This is what he says.
Hi, my name's John.
He wants to bang you. Okay, what's the next line there, John?
But I say that all the time, and I don't necessarily
Okay,
mean
fine.
that.
Let's
do
go to
I?
the next line. Go to the
Okay.
next line. What's the next line?
Okay, I'm sitting down on the subway.
You're on a
Okay?
subway.
Yeah, I walk in, I would sit down, and we exchange words a little bit.
Sure, you and some chicks are talking, and you say-
And I laugh, and I go, you're really funny.
He wants to bang you. Okay, what's the next one?
Okay. Okay, so we've conversed for a while.
Yeah,
we're
sure.
at a club.
Yeah.
And it's not a loud club; it's a nice club, right? You know,
Jazz.
Yep, jazz club, some gentle jazz playing,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And we've chatted for a while.
Yeah.
And I say, I'd like to get to know
He
you
wants
better.
to bang you.
Okay. So this is your translation. You're translating
I'm
this.
trying to explain to women, when you hear that from a guy, this is what he's actually saying. He's
Okay.
not saying it, but this is what he's saying.
This is
Yeah.
we're reading between the lines
We're
here.
reading between, and I'm trying to do you girls a favor. Okay, what's the next one?
Okay, let's say we're at a dinner with a bunch of friends, and it's like one of those dinners where you mix people together, and there's one couple. So there's a
like
few
that
single
movie.
people. There's a few single people, maybe not even single. You know the way it goes nowadays. So the guy looks to the woman, and there's
Yes.
the salt is in her proximity,
Yes.
and he says, "Can you please pass the salt?"
He wants to bang you.
Okay.
Do you see? Is there a pattern here?
Okay.
Do another one in case the pattern isn't. Everyone's not
I'm
connecting
not
the
good.
dots
I'm not
here.
strong on patterns.
Okay.
I could listen to you all night.
He wants to really bang you.
What if he's talking to a record player?
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so okay.
What's the
I
next
walk
one?
up, I make conversation with
Yes.
somebody I obviously know a little bit, and I say, I ran into Mark today.
Yeah, see, he wants to bang you.
So if a guy says to a woman that I ran into some
Pick a name.
random person,
Random.
that means he wants to. Okay.
Bang the woman he's just told that to.
Have you seen my car keys?
Yeah.
Bang.
Bang written all
so
over
that,
it.
but that to me, that's more like.
Have you seen my car
That's
keys?
more like if you're talking to your wife or a girlfriend.
She turns around, she bends over looking for them.
and
You see,
and
it's not about car
it's
keys.
first thing on his mind.
It's not about car keys.
And she said, "Okay, then you're a different one." She asks if I love cats, and I say, "Of course I love cats."
Next.
See, I get that. That's a sacrifice, right?
Next.
I don't know any guy that really loves cats.
No. So why would you say that? Because you want to bang
Cats
her.
are horrible creatures. Okay, now what if he's had a conversation with
Yeah.
her for a while,
And then he
let's
says-
let's say it's a family reunion.
Sure, it's a family
okay?
reunion, and
and
you
he
say to
says,
your cousin-
"I would really like to bang you."
Okay, that guy's gay.
Really?
If a guy says that to you, this is the only exception, but the only exception we're going to hear today. That guy is gay. He doesn't really want to bang you. That's kind of
Can I go
ironic.
back on that one for a second?
No.
Let me do this again. I would really like to bang you.
That's okay. So there you see the difference. It's subtle, but you can see that.
Okay.
Okay, so what's one more?
Okay. This one's kind of personal, but I'll go with it anyway because you know I'm a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Did you want to watch the Leafs game together?
Okay, that guy's gay too.
Wow.
Sorry, those last two examples, the gentleman who said that was gay. So
Let me do this again.
You're off the
Do
hook.
you want to watch the Leafs game together?
If a guy says that to
Okay,
you,
I get
then
it. I
he-
love the Leafs.
he really does want to watch the
Love
Leafs.
to watch the Leafs. They really give me a tickle.
So one more here, John, and I think we've made our point.
I really like your mother.
If a guy says to you, I really like your mother,
Yeah.
he wants to bang at least you.
And possibly the mother.
And there you go, ladies. Now you know.
But there's two more here.
Is there?
Yeah. Yeah. Your ex sure was a jerk. Now, are
guy-
you talking to your mother in that one? Like,
No,
now this is
no.
getting really
We've
confused.
left Mum behind in the
This is getting
last
really
one.
confused.
Your ex is really a jerk, showing commisery for your, the ex that she broke up with.
This
You know-
last one is really, this one's ambiguous.
Is it? What does it say? What's the last one?
Let me pay for that?
If a guy ever says to you, ladies, let me pay for that.
But can you define that?
Dinner?
Dinner?
Coffee?
Coffee. Okay, so you're not talking about paying for that. Like, you're not talking about paying for that.
No. But if a
Because
guy pays
that
for
would definitely
anything,
mean that he was interested in
go-
that.
you go get a couple of footlongs, and he says, here, let me pay for that. He's not really paying for the footlongs. Well, he is.
Yeah.
But that's not what he's thinking that he's doing. That's kind of like foreplay.
This kind of falls under the category. I mean, I feel bad for women a lot of the time just because they don't really know exactly what's going on in guys' heads.
Well, didn't I just clear it all up?
Well, that is, but
Isn't this what the exercise was about?
it's not even. I mean, what you're talking about is pretty. Those are pretty blatant examples. But
Really? Have you seen my keys?
yeah,
That sounds
obviously
pretty benign, doesn't
No,
it sound?
yeah, of course it does. Of course it does.
But it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
But if you're walking down the street, like if the average guy walks down the street and he walks past a woman, what does he think about?
I sure would like to bang that woman.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys do.
So even if they say nothing,
Yeah.
that's what they're thinking.
And don't blame us.
It's like a curse in
No,
many
no,
ways.
it's not a curse. We're just wired. We're wired.
I think it's more of a curse.
It's a cursed wire, I think.
Now we're talking design flaws.
I don't know. It's possible. Well, I appreciate you enlightening us on that.
It wasn't for us. You and me already knew that. What we were trying to do is let the chicks in on it.
But when you say you and me knew that, does that mean
You and me, we're like the collective male we.
so if I say those to you, does that mean
Yes. That was a quality bit about banging.
yeah? Well, that was
And you can say the word banging without, if you use that other F-bomb.
Because that's a legal word.
Yeah, but still, it gets a little...
It is a
banging
4-letter
is
word.
kind of
Bang is a 4-letter word.
You could say that in front of family.
Really?
If your kids are playing and you're sitting there talking, I wouldn't mind banging her. The kids, you can say that.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
it depends on the age of the kids, obviously.
5.
Well, yeah, no idea. Yeah. They'd have no idea. They'd think that you'd want, a cap gun and whatever.
Bust some caps in a mum.
But if you go home to like your parents and you want to announce that you and your wife, are having a baby, like would you say, we're having a baby, and then my mother says, congratulations, that means you must have banged.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So you think that's okay?
That's just fine. That's where we are as a society today. That's why we got away with that just now.
The Salt Spring Exchange is this ridiculous, kind of stupid thing that it's not stupid. I apologize.
I think you owe somebody an apology, mister.
Sorry, Christopher. It's an electronic bulletin board that we on this little backwards island in this corner of the northwest of Canada,
Salt Spring Island. Say it.
Yeah, Salt Spring Island. We have a community of basically certified idiots, and so you can come on the exchange and you can sell things, you can buy things, and you can just write whatever you want. Apparently, and this is once a week we handpick. Well, you handpick a selection, and then we quickly go over them.
I usually pick 3 nowadays.
Yeah.
And I was on there tonight, and golly, there was just 3 waiting for me.
The first 3
plums.
as usual.
And there was one here. It reminded me of the old radio days when we did the old speakeasy way back there.
God, that was a great show.
And we used to do the list, and
it wasn't long enough.
No,
only 2 hours.
Wasn't long enough.
But now these pathetic podcast listeners, so the people right now, these pathetic people, I don't want to listen for more than half an hour.
Can you say short attention span?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Attention deficit
because they've
disorder.
got other really important podcasts to get to.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah.
So at any rate, when we used to do that show, we used to do the list all the time, and we always seem to go after the healers. You and me seem to have a particular bent on... We didn't always agree on everything.
The healers are asking for it. The healers are really asking for it because I don't trust any of them.
You're not going to like this one then. This is pretty vintage. This really took me back to the 60s. This one.
Really?
Yeah, like all the way back.
There's some possibilities there.
So if you're willing to listen to this, I'm willing to read it to you.
All right.
All right. It says here, "Hello, Salt Spring!" ! Is your red flags up yet?
Of course. There's somebody's moving on the island or something.
I arrived from Vancouver on Friday.
Yeah. It's so easy to tell. Greet the whole island like we're one person.
How did you know?
I just know.
Well,
yeah.
I am so grateful to all the physical and spiritual forces that have brought me here. You okay?
It's just that this is insulting.
As I settle into my new space, letting the land embrace me, and as I gently let my roots ground me and receive the magic in this land, I surrender to the unknown with love and gentleness. We don't know what she wants yet.
What are the rules on swearing on podcasts? Just curious.
So far, we have no idea where this is going.
Well,
this could
neither
then go,
is this person.
I have a blender for sale. It could go there.
Yeah, it could go there. It could go there. It could say that I'm some kind of I've developed a specific type of healing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she actually is a healer. Okay. I'm offering light work energy sessions at Moontide Farm.
Moontide.
You can't write this stuff.
Is there wait a second. Is there really a Moontide Farm?
Well, there is now. 30-minute and 60-minute sessions are available. What do we got here? I'm tapping into crystal energy, beautiful light energy from the astral plane. I think it's halogen light they're using now in the astral plane.
How did this happen? No, they got to be using LED. It's got to be. How did it happen that people think they can come on to Salt Spring? And okay, so basically, realistically, the percentage of people that would respond to that kind of ad, that kind of person,
I say nil.
It's like what 1% of the island.
Nil percent.
Yeah. It's like it's like they make assumptions about what Salt Spring is all about.
Well, you sure are negative. I think you could use some light work.
This person's a fucking nut.
Yes, I suppose you could frame it that way. The Lightwork healing session channel life force energy invoking shifts in the subtle planes that nurture balance, insight, and reconnect to self, body, and spirit. That's a pretty big offer.
Did they say how much it costs?
Yeah, they sure did. It's for 30 minutes, it's $30, but for 60 minutes, it's only $50.
So basically $1 a minute
Unless you go the hour, then it's slightly less than $1 a minute.
to accomplish what you can accomplish
Hold
with
on.
like a single shot of scotch.
Hold on. You're not far off. Here's where you're going to lose it.
Yeah. Well, really, because I feel like I've already lost it. Like I'm suppressing every little rage demon in my soul.
I think I know a way to get those out of there.
Okay.
It goes on to say energy healing for cats, goats, sheep, dogs, and horses.
Oh God.
30 to 60 minute sessions are $25 to $60.
So it's cheaper.
So if your cat,
well, not much cheaper.
anyway, and there's also distant healing by donation. If you can't get to her, you can apparently do something distant by donation.
Okay. I believe communities should be welcoming. I think we communities in general, no matter where the community is, should be welcoming.
Absolutely.
I want that person off this island now.
I think you're talking about a pine box, aren't you?
I don't really care about vital signs at this point. I
bet she could heal her own vital signs.
But first thing I want to see some accreditation.
I've never seen you this contained.
This person is kind of this is the epitome of
That's what I
everything
said.
that's wrong with mankind.
What did I say? This one took me right back to the 60s.
Everything that's wrong with man. No, people in the 60s would say that's bullshit.
They might say that.
People in the 60s
They
say
were
that's
going, hey,
bullshit.
we're not that stoned.
They'd smoke some pot.
We're not that high.
I mean, so in the 60s, Matt, how much for an ounce of pot?
60s? Probably about $60.
Okay, 60
$40.
$40 for an ounce of pot. You can split that up, a couple
No,
people,
it'd be
right?
way less than that, actually.
Oh, regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, and you could stretch that for a while. If you're a person,
Oh, yeah.
you could stretch an ounce for quite a
Sure,
while.
Yeah.
Why aren't you just doing that?
Well, it doesn't
Why
necessarily...
aren't you just watching TV?
It doesn't necessarily shift your chakra.
You know you can get that kind of thing on YouTube for free?
She doesn't do YouTube, John. She does the Salt Spring Exchange.
Well, she should do YouTube.
There's some bad mojo on YouTube.
There's some bad mojo in this person.
In this one? Okay, I guess...
Can I just quickly close this with one?
Are you gonna go to Moontide Farm later?
I don't
on your way
know.
home?
I'm not. I don't like this person.
Wow. That's a lot of bad energy going her way. I'm thinking it's a her.
Maybe it could be.
I don't know that for sure, but I'm thinking her. Did you think it was a guy?
You know what? I want to walk up to her,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to not say anything. All I want to say to him is look, stand close to her or him or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and stand right there and say, "Okay, fix this." And I'll just look at them and I'll think what I'm thinking about them now. And if they fix that, I'll give them their money.
You know what she would be thinking right now? Oh, I listened to that podcast. This guy wants to bang me. Right?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what they'll think.
There's no quicker way to shut up a healer.
Yeah. You know what? There's basically no way to shut up a healer.
That's probably very true.
Next.
Poor healers. It's a tough gig. I mean, come on.
You know what the
They
healers
didn't choose
need?
it.
The healers need a healer, a healer's healer. Because massage therapists have masseuses that massage
Mechanics
them.
have other mechanics. Exactly.
So the healers need a healer.
Who's healing the healer?
Yeah.
I bet you could step up to that.
You know
fight.
what? It sounds like something I might do. I become a healer.
A healer's healer. I like that. Like this one, John. You a sailor at all? Do you sail?
I've sailed. I don't like it. It's so much effort.
It reeks of effort. The whole thing sucks. Looking for a sailing, you like this, looking for a sailing ride share to leave Salt Spring Island and end up in Hawaii. This guy and his girlfriend are trying to hitchhike. Have you been
on a sailboat?
Have you been on a sailboat for 5 days that it would take you to get to Hawaii? Have you ever done that?
No way. I would
Say
never do
26
it.
feet.
Never.
By yourself, you'd be
Never.
lucky to live.
Yeah.
Now you're taking Jethro and Ellie Mae here.
It's typhoon season too. Never.
Mid-20s, male and female.
Oh
wanting to get to
God!
Hawaii
Oh
on a
God!
sailboat.
Red flags.
So what if they start breaking up and then the second day out there they have that fight they've had? You always say that. Shut up. That's it. We're done.
But how can let's say a guy has thought
Now, Captain Jack is going, okay.
How about Captain Jack has thought, I'm going to sail to Hawaii, right?
Nice peaceful sail.
And he thinks, you know what? I would sure like to find some 20-somethings with no sailing experience.
Oh, no, hold on. No. Backtrack. One has plenty of sailing experience.
No, they don't.
And pleasure craft license.
No. Okay, I got my
the
pleasure
other
craft license.
Is screaming passenger number 2 that when trouble starts, the passenger starts screaming and freaking out.
That's the one that you cannibalize, obviously. But getting a pleasure craft license is about as easy as pleasuring your craft nowadays. Like, honestly, I got one.
Yeah.
I went online and it's like a test, and you click. It's multiple
First question
choice.
is, do you want a pleasure craft license? You say yes, and then
It's the kind of questions like, do boats float? Yes or no?
if no, why?
Which way is forward? And the first choice is forward, and the second choice is reverse. That kind of thing. Do life jackets float? It's those kind of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do they? I never thought of that.
It'll ask, is the port side left or left?
You know what this is like? This is like you saying, me and girlfriend whose relationship status you would have no idea of. And the dynamics between us could be from A to Z.
They're not married.
Would like to travel, say, from here to Toronto.
Yeah.
Looking for Volkswagen Beetle to share a ride with.
Yeah, Volkswagen
person,
Beetle.
Right. And the three of them would then leave Vancouver on their way to Toronto.
Yeah, no.
It's about the same distance.
No, and the problem is that I like where you're going with that, your analogy, but the problem is in a Volkswagen, you can, if you're going along, like let's say I'm happily driving along and I've taken these two on, and like you say, they're fighting or whatever. You know, all you got to do is just bring it up to like maybe 100K, and then just boom. Yep, sure. I mean, we've all thought about steering into traffic. If you're sitting there saying you haven't, everybody has. You know, and then just roll it, right? I mean, you always have that option. In a boat, it's harder. You got to get in there. You got to sink it. You got to get a drill out or something. There's no rocks between here and Hawaii.
No, it would be sheer madness.
You're really stuck. You're really floating out there.
It's a pretty interesting request. I'm going to follow up with that guy to see how many offers he had and which one he chose. On the other hand,
nobody gets offers for anything.
On the other hand, you could see the guy who would say yes. Yeah, I'll take it away.
Okay. So I get it.
Yeah, girlfriend of yours got an awful pretty mouth.
Oh God. Okay, we're going deliverance. Right. We're going the deliverance route.
Right, could be that too. And they're just happy to be going to Hawaii.
Yeah, but little do they know.
You ever see that Bud Light commercial where the guy and the girl driving down the road? There's a guy standing at the side of the road, and he's got a chainsaw and a case of Bud Light.
Yeah, no.
And the guy goes, "Hey, let's give this guy a ride." And the girl goes, "He's got a chainsaw." And the guy goes, "But he's got a case of Bud Light." And then they have that conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
I think.
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway, I would Captain Jack. You're going to be just fine on your own. You know, live and die by your own devices, but not because of these two jackals. Yeah. And finally, my friend, does anyone want to learn more about the writings and lectures of Rudolf Steiner?
Who's before we go?
Okay, you've really touched on something here.
I didn't even get to say anything.
Who is Rudolf Steiner? I'd be like, anyone want to, Franken Blickenstein? Anyone want to follow the writings of?
There's people out there going, I know who Rudolf Steiner is.
They're rolling in their graves right now going, these guys are idiots.
These guys are idiots. They don't know who Rudolf Steiner is.
He was the Hank Williams of German writers.
I don't know. Who is? Did you research who Rudolf Steiner is?
I was going to, but I ran out of time. But here's what it goes on to say. The agricultural course, that's the name of one of his books, or the study of man or occult science. This guy got around.
Okay, I retract. Nobody knows who Rudolf Steiner is.
Please call me and we can figure out how to proceed with reading one of his books. In my opinion, reading over the phone is best. I like that one. That was where the twist came.
You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
1 hour a week, and I guess that'd be on the phone, personal one-on-one quality time. It doesn't require any energy output like going to a meeting or a night class.
Do you know what? That is gross. That is the grossest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Let's read that one more time very quickly. And this time I'm going to take out the name Rudolf Steiner, and replace it with something.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to learn more about the writings of phone sex, the agricultural course, or the study of man or occult science? Please call me. We can figure out how to proceed with phone sex, reading one of his books. In my opinion, reading over the phone is the best. Phone sex. I rest my case. Sure, Maggie. I got Steiner's book right here. Really?
But okay. Wait a second.
Yeah. Why?
I'm just not done with this.
Read that line again.
How can this person expect anybody to respond? Like
Maybe the healer.
I've never heard about that as being a good idea. I've never thought about reading anything over the phone. Period. Like reading anything, let alone sitting there and going, okay, are you comfortable? Okay, let me begin.
So Chapter 1. You would read and I would follow what you're reading?
And what did you say, for an hour at a time? That's a long phone call.
But it's not a phone call. It's you're studying something.
No, it's a phone call.
It's a teleconference.
Can you use speakerphone?
Sure, why not?
I guess we could use speakerphone. It's still not the same. I don't even like reading out loud to people. I read to my kids.
I would like everyone in this room to put up their hand who thinks that's an hour well spent. That's a good time.
Are you putting your hand
I'm
up?
Not putting
no, I'm not
are
putting
you putting your
No,
hand?
I'm not putting mine up either.
So 100% of people don't think that's a really good idea. But it's not fun. Come on, where's the fun?
I don't mean to I'm not trying to exaggerate, and I don't want to sound like I'm overreacting, but that is the most gross, disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
More than that healer?
Way more. That healer looks like that's a good idea.
You know what I want to do next?
They both want to do things long distance.
Before I say goodbye to the list, I want to go and find out who Rudolf Steiner is. And we're going to be so ignorant when we find out he's a genius and we just didn't know.
Will
that change your opinion?
No. I'm trying to care. I'm trying to care about who Rudolf Steiner is. I don't think that it matters in this situation. The point is not Rudolf Steiner. The point's not the books. The point's not whether he's a genius. The point is this person wants to read a book over the phone because they're lazy. They're too lazy to get together.
You don't want too much human interaction.
It's creepy.
You want some, but not too much. Yeah, phone. I like the phone thing. I think you're wrong.
Really?
Not really. No, I think there's problems.
Yeah.
I think there's problems. Thank you, List. Thank you for continuing to giveth. Yeah. We'll see you next week, Mr. List.
And taketh away my innocence. Since politics doesn't matter, and we're not going to talk about politics that we know of, because tomorrow we get our new prime minister.
We do.
He gets sworn in, and it to me it's kind of like the playoffs. It's like when your team's been eliminated, you don't care anymore.
You don't care anymore.
And regardless if you're hoping for Liberal, like he's going to be the prime minister now. Who cares? He's getting sworn.
4
who
years
cares anymore? Now we're in the long haul. Now we're back into the regular season.
Yeah.
And the playoffs don't start till the next election.
Yeah, and that means the playoffs are 4 years away.
Exactly.
It's a long season.
Exactly.
It's a long season.
I was listening to the radio today, and when I listened to bits on the radio, and it wasn't a comedy bit, it was one of these information
TED Talks, like
things.
a TED Talk?
No. You ever done a TED Talk?
No.
Chances are
I have.
you know somebody that's done a TED Talk.
I've never given one. Is that what you mean? Have I given a TED Talk?
Because there's basically two kinds of TED Talks.
Not in front of a crowd.
There's the TED. Yeah. Is that when you pretend to be your alter ego Ted?
I call myself Ted.
There's the crowd. I mean, there's the regular TED Talks that are like the really big, cool TED Talks.
Yeah.
And then there's TEDx, they call it, and the X stands for loser. The X stands for TED Loser Talks, because basically,
who would talk then? Why would you?
Anybody could get a TEDx talk.
Oh, well, that's the problem.
Anybody could.
It's like karaoke. It's like TED karaoke.
Exactly. That's what it is.
The whole point of TED Talks is to eliminate the karaoke
component. If somebody says, I've done a TED Talk, make sure the next question you ask is
TED or TEDx.
Is it TED or TEDx?
Well, it was TEDx.
Then you'd walk away.
You would just slam the door. Boom.
Yeah, don't talk to them anymore. Because anybody, literally, they've been giving TEDx's out to everybody.
You can't swing a TED Talk without doing a TEDx talk.
So the regular TED Talks aren't really watered down that much.
No, there's 17 minutes of intensity.
It's kind of like the Nobel Prize. Like they have the Nobel Prize for science, right? And that's a big one. But then it's kind of like the Nobel Prize for peace, right? That's kind of like the TEDx. The Nobel Prize for peace is because everybody who's won a Nobel Prize for peace, which, by the way, is little Bommy Bommerson, Barack Obama was the last one to win.
Bommy Bommerson?
Yes. Yeah. That guy's lighting it up Bush style. He is lighting it up.
Did you hear his last speech in the White House? It went like this. Yeehaw!
I know.
That was that was the speech. That was it.
Everybody's all peace and love, and then they say,
He's out of here.
Wait a minute, I can get what plane to do what now to who?
He's 18. He's 18 months
It
from
doesn't
walking out
matter.
the door.
He is. Yeah, he may as well just, like I just said, light it up.
The Cadillac had been in first gear for the first 4 years.
And he is
Turns out we
lighting
got
up.
second, third, and fourth gear.
You remember Syria? Neither do I. It basically doesn't exist anymore.
So it reminds me of a joke. Syria walks into the U.S.
Well, that's what they're trying. That's what they're trying now. Syria's trying to walk into everywhere. Nobody wants to take them, but everybody wants to bomb the living hell out of their country.
If I had to pick a country to bomb right now, I'm not sure what I'd pick.
You got to
I think
pick
North Korea. I think I'd have to go with North Korea.
I don't know. Like if you don't want the refugee crisis, what I'm
whatever.
thinking is you bomb like Greenland. Because it's really hard for the refugees to get off an island. Iceland.
Yeah.
Like go into Iceland and just level it.
Level Reykjavik.
Yeah.
Just
tune
Okay,
tune up Iceland. Because it's really hard. Because the refugees in Syria, they can get anywhere in the world, essentially, from where they are.
They can get dead.
Great,
and then they can end up
Great
penniless.
Britain, for example.
Yeah, that's true.
Ireland. Madagascar. Like how many islands are there out there? New Zealand. I'm sure Australia'd be on with that one.
You know who you're going to see on Salt Spring, John? The Syrians.
Yeah.
And they're going to be so marginalized.
I can't
Can you
wait.
imagine the
I can't
racism
wait.
that'll happen?
I can't wait to get into some Syrian healing. Like they must have, if you think we have good healers here, imagine in the Middle East.
I would like to see
Syrians
those.
would be fabulous healers.
I would like to see the Syrians get off BC Ferry there at Long Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, Salt Spring, fantastic to be here. I love Salt Spring. And then just some redneck. Yeah, get the hell off the island, you stupid Hindu.
Yeah.
Something misappropriate. What? And then they hit him with a car. And
Do you think that's what it would be?
Yeah. Oh, I know it would.
On Salt Spring.
Oh, yeah. Syrians, come on.
Then I guess
John.
then I guess we should keep our healers.
Yes.
We should.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen to Syrians.
I will be at that dock with a big sign that says "No to Syrians."
Really, I'd welcome
Syrians
them.
go
I'd welcome
home.
them with open arms.
Yeah, you will.
I
And then
love
you wait.
Syrians.
And one day you'll be bound to the Syrian.
That's fine.
Yeah. You say that
I'm
now.
happy with that.
Yeah, Syrians. Duh.
So to get back to my original point from 10 minutes ago,
Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know. I do know because I'm holding. When we do the show, I often make a list of what we could talk about because you and I, as you know, we run out of things
Often
to talk
run out
about.
of ideas.
Always. There's a big vacuum. We sit here and look at each other and don't say anything.
Remember that show went on for 45 minutes?
Nothing.
And we didn't even think to stop the machine. Or just,
No.
Ugh.
I know.
That was a tough one.
On the radio, they're talking about polygamy.
Oh, no.
Yep. It's another hot button issue. Here in Canada,
Not really.
we have the bountiful. So I don't listen to the radio. I mean, I listen to it, but I don't listen to it attentively. So I just pick and choose little facts that I hear.
Right.
So I don't know if they're trying to legalize it or illegalize polygamy, or trying to make it, kind of legal but kind of not quasi-legal like they do with pot. Like if they're going to try and establish legal polygamy sites, like safe injection sites. I don't know if that's what they're doing. I don't know what that would look like.
Like
what
the
a
Mustang
legal
Polygamy Ranch. Something like that. Something like that.
So what we have to establish first is polygamy does not imply any more sex than usual. If you're married,
all 16 wives might say
well,
no.
just a second. If you're first of all, if you're married to one woman, right, you're not getting sex. So if you're married to so that represents 0. So if you're married to 10 women, what's 0 times 10?
You're not getting sex times 10.
Right, times 10. Okay.
Jeez, I hadn't thought of it
So
that
let's
way.
just scratch that whole polygamy means a lot of sex thing. It doesn't.
Well,
it doesn't.
Okay. Then that changes everything.
What's your take on polygamy? It doesn't matter whether we're talking legally. Are you pro or con polygamy?
Well, I think you got to make a
For it or
three-way
against
case
it?
here. You've got just being single, not being tied in with anybody.
Yeah.
Just running down the field, just being single.
Yep.
Then you've got the monogamous situation where you hook up with somebody till death do you part.
Yeah, your whole
which
life.
you pray for sooner rather than later.
Forever.
And that's great.
Your
and that's
only
a great scene.
life. Yes.
Don't take that
Gotcha.
pray for death thing. I was just kidding. Or you can marry like all these different women, and it's almost like pick your number. I don't think there's you can't have more than 20 Bob.
No, I don't.
I think it's
I
kinda
don't know if it's
open-ended.
set a cap.
I
right?
think it's open ended.
They might not set a cap.
So if you had all of that, you would think, well, if things were good once, they would be great times 24.
But that could work inversely. That could work the other way.
But the odds say that really, even if 50% are only hitting on all cylinders, that's still 12 out of 24. And even if half of those are really only hitting, that's still 6.
To me, if there's one guy out there, if there's guys out there that are willing to absorb like 8 potential wives for other
take
guys,
them off the...
then I think we should kind of let them go with it. Like, I think that's probably good. That's a good idea. Let them do it. If there's a guy out there who thinks, hey, I can do this, if he's got the confidence, not to mention, I don't know how it works. In this day and age, it's different now. I assume polygamy is different where women, it's the equal rights thing and women all get good jobs because, the traditionalist would be a polygamy traditionalist, like a down south polygamist would say, I'm the breadwinner. You guys stay home. And like you'd end up, with, I guess, a really super clean house and in lots of
16
baking.
clean houses.
Well, I don't know if they do different houses or different rooms or how that works. But if you're living in the modern time polygamy, then you would have 16 wives and they'd all have good jobs.
I would think so. You would be staying
So
home,
master polygamist wouldn't have to do like work really.
No.
Right?
So there's another bonus.
I guess so.
So far all I'm saying is the upside.
So far I'm thinking that's the only bonus to multiple wives.
Okay, now hold on. I would like to know how you figure out, like you're sitting at home and the phone rings and it's like, oh, hey, Carol. Well, I'm kind of hanging out with Sally tonight. Hold on, just calling the other line just a sec. Mary, oh, well, Carol's on the other line. I'm here with Ann and okay, I guess I could pop by. Just calling the other line. Oh, June.
Well, you'd have to schedule. You would have to schedule, and you couldn't really
be spontaneous.
Like realistically, could you do more than? Let me rephrase that. Could you marry more than 7? Like one a day for the week, or would you go kind of on like would you marry 10 and then every day go to a new one? So it wouldn't really overlap that way.
I guess, John. I don't know. It just seems so hard. It seems like a lot of work. One's a lot of work. 24, 12, 14.
It's a lot of it, Okay.
What's the upside? Let's get some upside here.
Before we get into the upside, because you know me, I don't want to get into the upside. I don't see upside stuff. It's not really my wheelhouse. I don't see upside.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so picture this. Picture one woman. Okay, here's one woman. And with her, okay, she has like an infinity amount of baggage.
Literal, like lots of suitcases?
Emotional baggage, okay? I guess to that point it doesn't matter then, because infinity is infinity. If you add 13 more women with infinity baggage, let's make it a little bit more. Let's make it something we can wrap our heads around.
Let's make it more sporting here.
Because infinity is a really big number. Let's say the average woman has an oil tanker of baggage, emotional baggage, like an Edmund Fitzgerald of emotional baggage, a Titanic, a Tower 1, a Hindenburg.
Got it.
Okay, of emotional baggage. You're multiplying that by 16. Everybody has ladies, just calm down. No. Everybody has emotional emotional baggage. It's just that guys, we shove it down and drink it away.
We do the right thing.
It gets packed in. It gets packed into like a singularity, right? And then explodes like a universe. Yeah, no. But women, it's more like this. It's more like this constant drip.
Can't quite get the
There's
faucet.
A lot of people I really hope don't listen to this.
Can't quite get the faucet to shut right off.
Yeah.
Polygamy, I don't know, John. Maybe one day.
Yeah. Not today.
It won't be this week. Don't even think it'll be
You know
this
what?
year,
if you're out there listening, try and get back to us.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on polygamy and if you got 7 sisters we should know about.
Yeah,
wow,
polygamy sisters.
that's
I guess
so
that works too. I mean,
interesting.
You could marry, but then legally, can a sister be
you
a
have been
sister-in-law
listening
to
to I
sister?
probably shouldn't say this, but
sisters.
with John Bateman and Matt Steffich. Full podcasts available at ipsstb.com. Tune in next Tuesday.